I started off my last video joking about how good Pokemon fans are eating in 2026 so far, and it looks like we can add another one to the list, because the release date for Pokemon Champions has just been announced as April 8th, 2026. They actually dropped a whole overview trailer that we're going to take a look at, and a little bit more information about exactly how this game will function. So if you don't know anything about Pokemon Champions, this will be a little recap of exactly what this upcoming game is and how you can play it starting on April 8th. So first, let's dive into exactly what Pokemon Champions is. You might remember games like Pokemon Stadium way back on the N64 or Pokemon Battle Revolution on the Nintendo Wii, allowing players to transfer their Pokemon from the main series games, which at the time were only sprites or 2D, and battle with them online, at least on Battle Revolution, in 3D. Nowadays, of course, all Pokemon games are 3D, so Pokemon Champions isn't exactly a place where you can just battle with better graphics, but more so a platform where you can more easily and conveniently power up, EV train, and of course battle with your Pokemon using a variety of different gimmicks from past generations all in one game. Just to confirm that, yes, the game will be playable on both the Nintendo Switch Original and the Nintendo Switch 2, and I believe it's also coming to mobile, though we don't know exactly when. And it's actually been confirmed there will be a Switch 2 patch that I believe should be free for anyone that has a Switch 2 that'll make the game run slightly better than on the Switch 1. Now, a lot of you might be familiar with a little game called Pokémon Showdown. It's basically a website where you can go and play Pokemon battles online for free. And the most convenient thing about it is it lets you build teams basically however you want. You can just choose whatever Pokemon you want, give them the EVs, IVs, movesets, customize their stats exactly how you want them to be. And for the longest time, people have been wondering why Pokemon doesn't just make a game like Showdown. So to put it in the most simplest terms, Pokemon Champions is kind of that, but there will be some restrictions. Also, just because I know a couple of people will ask, but Pokemon Showdown is apparently approved by Pokemon Company, Game Freak. They are aware of Showdown's existence, so basically they gave him their seal of approval to keep the website running, and is in fact a tool that a lot of VGC players that compete in official Pokemon tournaments use when it comes to team building and practicing for their real matches. So for that reason, I don't think Pokemon Champions will ever replace Showdown. It still has its benefits, being able to customize everything completely freely, versus Pokemon Champions is going to be a little bit more complicated. So perhaps the biggest and also most controversial aspect of Pokemon Champions is that it's going to be entirely free to play. But that does of course mean there's going to be some good old microtransactions. Let's take a look at the latest post from Cerebi confirming that Pokemon Champions will feature a battle pass for 1,400 yen per season, with a starter pack for 980 and a membership of 700 yen a month or 7,000 a year. Now currently the yen is not doing too hot, so it equates to about $44. I would guess that they maybe round this up to $50 in the US, meaning it'll either be $5 a month or $50 a year for the membership. I was a little confused about what each thing actually included, but this post here clarifies the membership, the premium battle pass, and the starter pack are 3 different purchases. I don't know why all this information is only available in Japanese. The English prices, I guess, are still being worked on. But if you Google Translate, you can see that the membership service will give you a box expansion so you can have more Pokemon stored within Champions itself. Increased number of battle teams. It doesn't say exactly how many slots, but you have to pay for the membership if you want to have more teams, either 700 monthly or 7,000 annually, like I mentioned. It'll unlock member exclusive missions through which you can receive gifts. Doesn't say exactly what gifts. And addition of battle songs. You get extra music tracks for paying that extra fee. On top of that, there is the Battle Pass, which I believe is going to be completely separate to the membership, 1,400 yen, close to $10. So again, I feel like they're going to round that up to 10. Megastones will be unlocked from leveling up the pass, though Emberite seems to be part of the paid tier. So there is a free tier of the Battle Pass as well as a paid version, similar to a lot of, modern games like Fortnite. You have some rewards that you can get for free, but some that you can only get if you pay for it, which I assume are these golden ticket items here, like Ember itself, the Emberite, and I guess this is like an icon that you can wear on your profile. Whoever invented the Battle Pass needs to be Chi-Yu overheated in the sun. Oh boy. That doesn't say exactly how long seasons will last, because if we're having to pay $5 per season, I think I said, it might be $10 per season, and it's every month, that's pretty wild. So I assume the seasons will last longer than just a month. For Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, as far as I could tell, the regulations would last for like 3 to 4 months. You can see some of them here on the official VGC website. Actually, this is Victory Road, not official site, but it does have the actual dates that these regulations ran from, and most of them were a couple of months. So I think at $10 per battle pass, I would expect the seasons do last a couple of months, not just one, because $10 a month is crazy, especially if you're also paying for the membership. If the membership includes the battle pass, then I think it's pretty fair. $50 a year is like about what you would pay for a full price game. But let's be real, it's probably not gonna unlock everything. That's being a little hopeful for a live service game. And then there's also the starter pack, which is another separate purchase. I like how in the Japanese Google Translate says 50 more animals, not Pokemon. But yeah, that's another 1,000 yen right there, almost. Totally forgot that was a big controversy, that you only get 30 box slots, so 30 Pokemon total for the free version of the game. So you can of course transfer from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but also Legends ZA and Legends Arceus, hold up, and Pokemon Go. But if you transfer them from home, you still are limited to that 30 Pokemon. You won't be limited to only Pokemon transferred from home though, as you can also recruit Pokemon within Champions in a sort of gacha-like system, at least from what I can see in the trailer, and is only a trial, meaning you can only use those Pokemon in your teams for a limited time, I believe 7 days. You'll only be able to recruit 1 Pokemon per day for free, but you'll have the option to recruit more daily if you use VP, which is thankfully an in-game currency that you can't just upright buy. It's earned by actually playing. And this currency is actually what you use to buy a lot of other things in the game too, which we'll get into soon enough. There's something quite interesting about this part of the trailer I didn't catch on first watch. But Twitter absolutely did, not just Soul Silver here, but a lot of posts about these strange silhouettes during the recruitment part. I actually did notice this one the first time I watched the trailer, but I kind of thought maybe it was a Quilava or a Typhlosion with the ears. Looking at it now, that's definitely not a Pokemon that we know of, and neither are these two. And this one I think is the one that's making people question if maybe we're getting a glimpse or first look at the evolutions for the Winds and Waves starters. Going back to this one, could potentially be the middle stage for Pom-Pom. It does have a dog-ish silhouette. And then we're really stretching it with this one being Gekwa's middle stage, because yeah, I don't see Gekwa turning into that silhouette in any way. And the more I look at it, it kind of reminds me of like the old style sprites of Pokemon, kind of like a generic silhouette shape. So I could totally see it being similar to this, where it gives you a generic silhouette depending on what somewhat shaped Pokemon it is, like Quadruped you can see looks like the one here. Point being that as much as I would love these to be hints at the middle stages for the Winds and Waves starters, I don't think that's what it's going to be. At least I kind of hope not, because this looks a little too generic for Pom Bomb, and this just looks... Let's take a look at this official trailer. Already the graphics are looking pretty nice. I remember the pre-release, or like a couple of months ago, Champions looked kind of ugly, but looks pretty good. Music sounds nice too.
Pokémon Champions.
Hell yeah. I actually like the UI, the way that the HP bars and stuff look. That's pretty nice. Okay, I gotta say, this may be the Ilka Redemption arc, because if you don't know, they're helping with developing this. Or I think they actually teamed up with Game Freak and formed some new studio, but it's still very much Ilka. And if you don't know, they made Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, maybe the most hated Pokemon games of all time. This could be Ilka's redemption here, at least with Pokemon fans, because they have made other good games before. A lot of people always bring up the One Piece Odyssey, Sandland as well with Akira Toriyama. Very nice looking games, and Champions, you know, at first didn't look great, but definitely looking better in this new trailer. Whoa, wait a minute, did you see that? Meganium's Meganiumite is reacting to Becca's Omni Ring. I do remember hearing about this. I don't remember when. There was like a Japanese only trailer that talked about the bracelet that the characters in Champions wear. It's not actually a Mega bracelet or a Terra Orb. It's like an all-encompassing of all the gimmicks, which potentially hints that we're gonna have Z moves return later on. Maybe even room for the gimmick from Winds and Waves, because if you count them, that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's definitely room for a 6th gimmick in there. The Omni Ring, the name Omni, I think it's like omnipotent, is like everything. So yeah, all the gimmicks in one ring, that's pretty sick. This is the big news for today. We have new abilities for Mega Feraligatr and Mega Meganium, and sadly Mega Emboar. It was already my least favorite from ZA. It just gets Mold Breaker, which was already an existing ability and isn't necessarily bad for Emboar. If you don't know, it lets it bypass abilities. So for example, you can hit Levitate Pokemon with Earthquake or Flash Fire Pokemon with Fire moves. So Mega Meganium is getting a new ability called Mega Soul, while Mega Feraligatr gets Dragonize, which, as the name implies, if you know abilities like Pixelate, Galvanize, Normalize, turns normal type moves into Dragon type. Pretty basic, self-explanatory, I guess you could say. I want to say this is probably a normal type move that got turned into Dragon, because I don't know what Sutemi Tackle is. Oh, it's actually Double Edge. So yeah, Double Edge got turned into a Dragon type move there, which is pretty cool. It's an interesting ability. I like that they're adding new abilities. Oh no, Mega Emboar. I feel like Meganium should look a little more menacing, because we're going to get into Meganium's ability now, and I think it is by far the best one. So if you guys don't remember, in Pokemon Legends EA, Mega Meganium's kind of unique in that when you use Solar Beam, it has no charge up time. Just instantly blast the opponent with Solar Beam, and I, alongside many others, predicted this might relate to its ability in the turn-based games. More specifically in Pokemon Champions, which we now have confirmed. Mega Soul will use moves as if Sunny Day is in effect. So moves like Solar Beam and Solar Blade, for example, will activate instantly instead of having to charge up. But then you also get all of these other effects with moves like Weather Ball, Growth, Moonlight Synthesis, Morning Sun, though someone says apparently Meganium doesn't learn Growth. Interesting to note though, this is not going to be like Drought, which literally summons the sun. It just gets the effects as if it were in the sun. So there's no actual sunlight weather effect. It just can use the effects of it with moves like Synthesis or Solar Beam. Now, I've never been much of a competitive battler, so I don't know how good this will actually be, but it sounds pretty insane, and overall, I'm just happy whenever Mega Evolutions get new, unique abilities. Like I mentioned, Mega Emboar could have really benefited from something more unique. A lot of people were predicting Supreme Overlord for it, mainly because of the design. It's definitely giving Supreme Overlord, which is King Gambit's ability, but alas, it gets Mold Breaker. Now we get into the more controversial part. So VP or victory points can only be earned through battling, specifically rank battles, which is a huge sigh of relief. I thought maybe you could buy these like V-Bucks. And this is the currency that you can use in the in-game shop to buy many things, ranging from character customization, bonus battle tracks, and most importantly for recruiting Pokemon, and most importantly to customize those Pokemon. This is where it gets a little bit confusing because unlike EVs, which cap out at 252, these actually cap out at 66, so you can put 32 in each stat maximum and then the last remaining 2 into another stat. So it's essentially the same though as the 252 EVs. Well, I guess the 32 would be like the 252. So as you can see here, this player had 6,000 VP and it cost 330 to fully max out one stat. So double that by 2 for both stats and then a little extra bit for this one. Plus to change the nature, it was 500 VP and another 500 for the hidden ability and 250 for the move. Okay, yeah, we better be getting a lot of VP because just to customize one Pokemon to your liking, it's going to cost you upwards of like 2,000. From what we see in the trailer, you only seem to gain 200 VP for winning in a ranked battle, which if you do the math means at least 10 wins to customize a single Pokemon. But considering this is the whole thing with this game, is just battling, no doubt it's going to be a grind. I just wonder how much easier that grind might be if you pay for things like the membership, because it does mention that if you get the membership, you get bonus missions, and we gotta assume that you get extra VP from those missions. So it's not exactly the pay to win, but it's definitely pay and you'll progress a lot faster than the free-to-play exclusive players, which, let's be real, we all expected that as soon as they announced it was going to be a free-to-start game. Overall, you'll just be a lot more limited with your options, and considering this game is online only, as far as I can tell, there's no single player. And even if there is, I assume you don't get VP from winning in the single player, or if you do, you get a lot less than you would from online battles. So my point being that there's going to be a lot of people with stacked Pokemon teams, and assuming there is some kind of elo system that pits you against players of your same skill, maybe you can still squeeze out some wins here and there, but it's going to be tough if you're just taking L after L to get VP or enough VP to be able to, get your Pokemon up there on par with those tryhards. Is it worth spending 5,000 VP on a song when it costs almost that much to customize a Pokemon? I feel like one is more important than the other, but it just really depends how you get VP. It looks pretty nice though. I actually do like the visuals a lot. That is it for this trailer. Wolfie VGC's already given it his seal of approval, which is nice. Nintendo YouTubers, everything you missed. Oh my god, that's literally what I'm making right now. Bro, why are you calling me out, Speed? We'll take a look at the official Champions website, because I feel like they should have the prices here. And they do in fact have the release date at least confirmed here for April 8th. But they don't really talk about the prices for the microtransactions on here. They do confirm though that Pokemon competitions will transition to Champions on April and May 2026, which is kind of crazy because I thought at least the next upcoming Pokemon World Championship that's already been announced for San Francisco later this year would still be on Scarlet and Violet, but right here, Pokemon Champions will remain the platform moving forward, including the International Championships and the Pokemon World Championships. So we're going to have Pokemon Champions at this year's World Championship, which is crazy. I mean, honestly, I'm happy with these news because Scarlet and Violet is, 4 years old at this point? We need a little bit of a shakeup, and Mega Evolutions from ZA, which we're going to get to in a little bit. We got some new Mega Evolution news. But yeah, for this new World Championship, that's pretty exciting. I mean, it doesn't really give players a lot of time to cook or practice with the new meta, but that's also kind of interesting in a way. It means that we could have someone completely unexpected win. VGC player is going to have to adapt quick. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll lock in. No, who am I kidding, bro? There's no way I'm making it to Worlds, but I might try to enter a tournament sometime in the future if I really get into Pokemon Champions, because with it being such a fresh opportunity to start over with both Terrestrial and Mega Evolution in it, the meta is completely going to change, and I do have some Pokemon knowledge. I have a lot of friends that can definitely teach me, so yeah, it's going to be exciting to get back into online play starting on April 8th. That is the release date, so I will definitely be streaming some Pokemon Champions, making some tips and tricks perhaps if I have any for you guys. Let me know, will you be playing Pokemon Champions? I mean, it's free to play and you can get it on Switch 1 and even later on in mobile, so there's really no excuse not to at least try it for free. So again, Pokemon fans really are eating. We are devouring in 2026 so far, and we got wins and waves to look forward to next year. So pretty exciting stuff for the 30th anniversary so far. Let me know what you think of all these announcements, and if you enjoyed, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet for more Pokemon videos.